You mentioned something, Patrick, about kind of the effects that congestion can have on sleep. And that's been a big one for me because, as you know, I'm a huge fan of mouth taping at night. I know you love doing it as well. And so for me, like, I've always been cautious. Like, and the great thing is that, and this is a shameless plug for Patrick's, to the mouth tape that he created, the myotape, is that, like, with the myotape, at least, like, it goes around kind of the circumference of the mouth and lips and doesn't bind the lips shut. So I'm not nearly as nervous with it. But for people that do mouth taping at night, if they're using like more kind of conventional tape, whether it's, like surgical tape or whatever they've got on hand, like, can that be dangerous if they have like some pretty significant nasal congestion and then still choose to mouth tape? Like, would that be advised against?
Yeah, it's a good question. Normally we request people to make sure that they can breathe through their nose. It's just kind of common sense, Now, if somebody does have a pretty stuffy nose, like my example, I was one of those people with chronic nasal obstruction. It's about 10% of the population. And I use breathe right strips. When I started taping my mouth, I was doing the nose and blocking exercises, but I also had to I had to use something else as well just to help open up the nose, and that was breathe right strips. And I used breathe right strips to open up my nose for a few days with the mouth tape. So at least then I had something, if the nose was getting stuffy. Now, touch wood, 20 years we've been requesting people to tape the mouths. The myotape is much safer, of course. There's no risk because you can open your mouth if you need to. But we didn't have any issues, to be honest with you, with the other ones. Certainly with kids, we don't like doing it. Just there's a risk, of course, with children. So we'd never have the kids taping across the lips. But with adults can get a bit apprehensive. And I think it was the one thing I remember in a conference room about 15 years ago, and there were about 10 people inside, and we were all taped up, and I was going through the nose and blocking exercise. So you can imagine 10 people around a boardroom table, and they were all taped up, and they were nodding their head up and down, and somebody got lost inside in the training place and came straight into the room and came across 10 or 15 people, I can't remember how many, all wearing tape across the mouth, not even surrounding the mouth.
That's a scene.
Well, she turned in, she looked straight in the room, turned around as quick as she came in, and out the door she was gone. And I was only thinking, what on earth did she think we were up to,
Right, exactly. I mean, yeah, I'm sure she probably was like, yeah, I'm not being a part of this crazy cult. Like, I'm out of here. Because it's mouth taping has been, it's becoming a lot more kind of commonplace. I think that, we were seen as kind of like the weirdos, doing this practice kind of here, within the last, decade or so. And in the last like 5 years or so, I've really seen it kind of like take a turn, and people are like, oh yeah, you're doing the mouth tape thing. I've heard of that. And, it's work like yours and James Nestor who've really kind of brought this kind of practice into the limelight, and people have kind of seen that there's a lot of great research behind this. I mean, physiologically, like, it makes sense. It's just, you got to be smart with it. You got to do it the right way. And again, like, in order to provide another shameless plug, like, when it comes to mouth tape, like, I really like the one that you created, myotape, because like, I don't fear like putting it on at night, like, and thinking, oh, if, I end up like for some reason not being able to breathe through my nose, then I'm just gonna like pass out and die, which wouldn't happen anyway. I think we'd wake up before we died.
You would, sure.
You would. Yeah. But if anything, it just gives peace of mind. So I like that ability. I also like the ability too, especially with kids, with the myotape. Like, if they like cry for us at night, like, I don't have to waste a piece of tape by taking it off and then going and talking to them. I can just walk into the room and talk to them, or I can talk to my wife next to me if she needs me for something. It's a really great benefit. So if people haven't checked out your myotape, then they should, because it's an extremely well-made and versatile mouth tape that I use both for sleep, and then also too, I use it a lot for when I'm out training, like even on runs and stuff, because even though it allows me to kind of like breathe in through my mouth, I think just having it on there like automatically like conditions my body to breathe through the nose, because I get that gentle pull of my lips together, and it's just kind of like that reminder of, hey, now time to nasal breathe, which should be a bulk majority of my time too. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, no, and I'd say, Jay, just to err on that, anybody waking up with a dry mouth in the morning, just check if your mouth is it moist when you wake up, or is it dry? And if you have a dry mouth waking up, you're not likely to get that deep sleep. So whatever you do, start trying to do your best to get your mouth closed during sleep, and also your tongue resting in the roof of the mouth. And that will help to open up the airway. And with a more open airway, and I'm talking about the space just at the back of the nose, the space at the back of the mouth where it meets the throat and the throat itself, if you have a more open airway, you're going to be less susceptible to resistance to your breathing during sleep. And basically this would mean that you would have less severity of obstructive sleep apnea. And also mouth snoring stops once you get the mouth closed. Now you can still snore through your nose, but by improving your breathing patterns, you can reduce nasal snoring. And there is even, I was just looking at a paper today, 2021, and talking about nasal obstruction causing sleep problems. And none of this is new. This has been around for 400 years. And, you know, when you really think about it, Jay, and you were talking about sleep earlier on, is there anything more important as a function to get right in the human body?
Yeah, no, it is one of the main pillars of health.
Definitely.
Yeah, indeed. Well, thanks for that information. It's going to be quite helpful. Thanks for listening to the Hanu Health Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. This podcast would not happen without listeners and supporters like you. And the best way to support us and the show is to head on over to iTunes and provide us with a 5-star review. This helps us reach others and spread the good word of breathing and stress resiliency. If we read your 5-star review on air, please reach out to podcast@hanuhealth.com with your name and mailing address, and we will send you some sweet Hanu gear. Until next time, breathe better and stress less.